Hey, this is David Wallerman talking about a great song today from Collective Soul. And I'm here at JamPlay and we're going to talk about Shine from Collective Soul. Shine was released in 1993 from a band from Atlanta. And still today you can hear it on the radio a lot. It's a classic rock sound. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to cover the several parts that make this song. But before we do so, I'm going to talk about the tuning a little bit. We're not in standard tuning here. We're in drop D flat. It's not a really conventional tuning, but it kind of gives you that that low end that is so pleasant and this kind of heavy riffing. So how do you tune in D flat, drop D flat? Very easy. You're going to take your guitar standard tuning, tune it a half step down. So your first string, which should sound like this if you're in tune, it's going to sound like this. It's a half step down. You're going to do that with all the strings. So you'll have E flat, B flat, G flat, D flat, A flat, and E flat on the low E string here. And then we're halfway through. You're going to take that low E string and you're going to tune it so that it sounds like the fourth string, which is a D flat. And these two notes are the same. One is an octave lower, but that's an open D flat. Very heavy sounding. That's for the tuning part. And for the purpose of everyone's sanity, when I'm going to mention this first string open, I'll call it E instead of E flat. It's going to make everything easier. So if your guitar is in tune, we're going to talk a little bit about the different sections of this song. There's really not that many sections. The song is quite long, about 5 minutes or so. And we're going to break this down into the following sections. We'll have an intro riff, which is also used in the verse. So that's going to cover the intro and the verse. Then we'll talk a little bit about a heavy riff. It's kind of the pre-chorus. We'll talk about that one. And then the chorus. The chorus has two tracks on there. There's two guitars, one that plays the actual chords, and another one that kind of embellishes those chords, just adds a little bit of extra flavor. And then we'll talk about the lead section. Two sections here. We'll talk about what's going on in the rhythm track, the chords, and then the actual solo. That's why you guys are here, right? No, rhythm is important too. So we'll talk about those sections, and once we have these few sections, we'll have the whole song, and you just need to take a look at the chart, the song chart, which is provided in the additional content there, and you'll be good to go. Several backing tracks in this lesson as well for your convenience. So your guitar's tuned, you know a little bit about the parts. We're going to start right away with the intro riff, which is also the verse. So let's check that out. The intro verse. The intro verse, you've heard it before. It's really a good hook in that song. And notice that if I play this, there's an ongoing bass pedal going on there. You always hear this bottom note. You always hear that, which is a D flat or D note. And we're just adding some extra notes on there. You always hear that on bass. A little bit about these extra notes we're adding. These notes are extracted from a D major scale. So if I play a D major scale, we're going to recognize these 7 notes there. And those are the notes we're going to use for this riff. Let me play this really slow, and then I'll talk a little bit about the technique used. But here is this opening riff and verse, very slow. Okay, really there's not that many notes here. We've got the additional notes we're going to add to this pedal, this D pedal, are all found on the 3rd string. And we've got one on the 9th fret and one on the 11th fret. These are the two first notes, and notice that they're kind of tied together. By doing a hammer-on is basically you're playing one note, and the next note, instead of strumming the next note, you're going to hammer. Basically, I'm playing the first note, the 9th fret, 3rd string with my index, and then my ring finger is going to hammer the next note, which is on the same string, 11th fret. And you really need to put enough pressure in there. You don't want to have the first note sounding loud and clear and then the next note kind of being buried in there. That's not good. You want the same volume for these two notes. Just like that. And then go back to that 9th note, and then you're going to slide down to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. So here's this first section, so just 3 notes really. 9th fret, 11th fret, 7th fret. Okay, and the rhythm is very, very important here. If you listen to the backing track, there's several looped backing tracks for your convenience here. Make sure that you change the notes in time. That's very important. The tab should help you there. That's for this first section. Second section, we're going to go up in that scale. Same thing, D major scale. We're starting the same way, and then we're sliding up to the 14th fret, which is also in that D major scale. Slide up to 14. Okay, and then we're going to go back to the 7th fret, 3rd string, and then the 9th fret, and 11th fret. It sounds confusing, but it really is not. If you listen to this several times, I'll play it again one time slow and then at full speed. Here it is slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You might be a little confused by all the when I'm placing these open D strings, but really, to be honest, it doesn't really matter where you place them as long as you place the higher notes in time. Because let's face it, let's be honest, when the artist recorded that song, he's got the main idea of the riff, but then, you know, it might change from night to night. But you wouldn't recognize the difference, really. So it doesn't really matter as long as you're really accurate when you change these higher notes. So here it is at full speed. Okay, and then there's a second part for this opening riff, the intro and the verse. Very easy, 2 chords. One is almost a 4th type of chord with a root and a 4th, and we're going to use the 2 middle strings, strings 3 and 4. And I use the middle finger and the ring finger, but you might decide that you just want to use the index as a bar chord, kind of. But I use these 2 fingers right here, middle and ring. And I'm going to play the 5th fret on strings 3 and 4. That's our first chord, followed by the same type of chord, but open strings. And the second chord we're going to use after this one is going to be a really typical power chord. And I'm using my index on the 4th string, 5th fret, and my ring finger is going on the 3rd string, 7th fret. That's just really a typical power chord. And same thing, after this we'll use this open string chord. So all this section here happens on only 2 strings, strings 3 and 4. Let me play this section really slow. In context, here it is. I'll play the opening part of this verse and then followed by these chords right here. Here it is. time again. And slide to 14. Now these chords, followed by the power chord. And that should answer your questions on the verse and the intro. Before you move on to the next part, I really recommend that you use the looped backing track. It's a backing track that's just going to go through this verse over and over and really get used to the feel of the rhythm. Very important. As far as the pick goes, I'm very big on alternate picking, down, up, but for this particular song, I think it kind of helps your groove if you just do downstrokes. See, I'm just doing downstrokes. That's it. So practice this one, and then we'll move on to the heavy riff, which is really the hook of the song. So let's check that out. This section right here is very enjoyable to play. I love playing this. It's quite easy. Actually, it's super easy because the chords we're going to play here are all played with the index finger, the rock finger, the index finger. Very easy because of the way our guitar is tuned. If your guitar was not tuned that way, it would sound horrible, but since you checked out the second scene, you know how to tune your guitar. And the cool thing is that I can simply play 3 strings at a time, these low end strings, strings 4, 5, 6, without any fingers, and it's just going to sound great. Wow, that's great, isn't it? And then if you want to play other chords, just use one finger and do a bar there and play the same strings. It's going to rock. Don't you wish you knew that when you first started playing? You would be in a metal band right now and sell millions of dollars. CDs probably. Okay, so this section right here, 4 chords. And you know the shapes of the chords. One finger. Let me play this quite slowly. One finger. And here's the surprise. That's it. Really easy. So the frets that I'm playing here, besides the open string chord, I'm playing the same chord on the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, and the 6th fret. Now it's just a matter of working on your rhythm and the order of these chords. Here it is very slowly. That's for the first section. Okay. Notice that I'm playing these with downstrokes again. So you kind of need to hear the rhythm in your head, you know, da 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 da. And if you move your head at the same time, you'll look like a rocker and you'll be in tempo too. So that's good. So that's for the first section. Da, 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 da. Second part is a little bit different, and we'll talk about this second part right here. But same kind of thing, same chords here. Let me play this whole section for you. We're just going to practice this one. And you really need to hear the tempo in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you really hear the steady beat in the back there. Very important. And then the second time around, we're going to add one chord, which is on the 6th fret. And it's really a short chord. We're not going to let that ring or anything. That's not going to sound good. You need to be very tight at the end. Here's the second section. Starts the same way. It's right on the beat. 2, 3, 4. If you bounce your head once again, it's going to help you, I think. Practice this section with the backing track, with the metronome if you can. I think it's going to help your tightness, and this really is an important part of the song, quite an easy part, but that's really what makes the whole song so catchy. So make sure you get this right, and then we'll move on to the chorus. Let's check this chorus out.